Good evening, Panther fans. It's Phil Elias with Jackson Sandusky on the camera. We got a special senior night for you tonight. Typically, senior night, as you all know, is handled back home in Upper St. Clair in the boys' gym. But the great flood got us, and we are live at the A.J. Palumbo Center for a special senior night. We're going to start this off with a conversation with one of our alumni. I got Sean Casey to the right of me. And Sean, thanks for joining us.
It's great to be here, though, Phil. It's great to be with you and at the A.J. Palumbo Center.
And I know you've been to Cincinnati Reds, you've been a Richmond Spider, Detroit Tigers,
Pittsburgh
Pirates, World Series. You've been around, Sean.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about necessarily any of that tonight. I want to talk about where it started for you.
Yeah.
You're an Upper St. Clair Panther. Tell me what it means to be a Panther all these years later.
You know what, Phil? It's funny. You do think back, how life comes full circle. Like, I think back to playing at Upper St. Clair, winning the Whippeal title in '92, still have some great friends from that team. I think there's something about, for me, playing at Upper St. Clair and, playing sports here, winning a Whippeal championship, the friendships that I made here, that really, took me to that next level of, of playing pro baseball. But, it's funny, you look back all those years of doing, pro baseball, some of the best times I've ever had was here at Upper St. Clair.
And I think the biggest endorsement you can give your town is all those places you've been and all those sites you've seen and all those different towns and all those different lifestyles. When it came for you to get on with your life's work and put your roots into the ground, you came to 15241.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, there's no better place to raise kids. There's
Right.
no better place. There's no better city than Pittsburgh. You go to a Steeler game, Bucco game, Penguin game. You're right in here. You got the Benham Center, all the things, the arts. You got everything you need here in the city. But Upper St. Clair, man, just, Matt Sarakowski and that crew, what they do
Wonderful job.
for our town, all the parks, again, the Miracle League that we've had, all that stuff. But and the education that my kids get, the athletics that they get here at Upper St. Clair, it's lived up to the billing, because we came back when the kids were young.
Right.
And you're thinking, hey, I grew up here in this town, and it was a wonderful experience for me. Is it going to be for my kids? And it has been.
So, the school districts are fantastic, and it is really important to read and write and arithmetic. In Brashear, my alma mater, we call them the 3 R's: reading, writing, and arithmetic. But I firmly believe that the arts have a place, and so do athletics. And the stuff that these kids learn amongst themselves on the hardwoods, on the bus trips, on the football fields, on the baseball fields, that stuff you can't learn in the classroom, and that's certainly something you know about. Can you talk about what you've learned on ball fields?
Well, what's great for me is, like, being able to talk to my kids, Andrew, Jake, and then I have 2 little girls, Carly and Jillian. Like, just being able to talk to them. I think the great thing about sports is, first off, you learn how to be a great teammate. That's the first thing and foremost. How to be a good teammate. How to be positive. How to lift each other up. How to, all that kind of stuff. And then the ups and downs of sports. Like, and it mirrors life. In life, you're going to have ups and downs. You're not going to have everything go your way all the time. And how do you handle it? How do you handle failure? How do you handle success? And that's what sports does for you.
Disappointments. They come and they go, and successes. And then I think it's really important to compete. Learn how to get out there and play like your hair's on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, how competitive. And I remember having a conversation with you, and I asked you what you were going to miss. You told me that you'd miss a lot of things, but you missed the compete level.
Yeah.
Talk about what it means to compete at the highest levels.
Oh, my gosh. You kidding me?
Every at-bat, every pitch.
Well, you know what? One thing you realize is you can't replicate it.
Right.
There's
That's
nothing
what you said.
There's nothing you could ever
back.
replicate again. I remember playing in the World Series in 2006, like, the crowd, the atmosphere, October, hitting a home run, rounding the bases. I'll never be able to replicate that ever again in my life. And I tell my kids, even my son's playing basketball, I say, don't look back in a couple years and say, man, I should have given it more. I should have worked harder. Don't do that.
Yeah,
put it all on the line right now and have fun, enjoy yourself, enjoy your teammates, because you'll never have these years back.
You know what? And unfortunately, those stories do exist where a kid just didn't take the opportunity, a kid made some decisions, and they've got regrets later on in life for sure. This basketball team now, you got a little vested interest in this hoop team. These guys are 19-2.
Yeah.
They're playing at the Palumbo Center against the Foxes.
Yeah.
They just beat Lebo by 26. Their non-conference wins. How about this for a resume? Their non-conference wins are Pine Richland and Alderdice. How good can this team be if they want to be?
They got a shot to win.
Yeah.
The win on Whippeal, maybe the state title.
Right.
I think. I mean, Danny Holzer's done a great job with these guys. His staff has done a great job. They play hard. They play fast. And they're great teammates. I think one thing, when you talk to Danny and you talk to Joe, the trainer, anyone that's involved with this team, they say these are some of the best kids they've ever had around. And I think that shows in their record.
Yeah, that chemistry issue is a real deal. And again, we talked about that earlier. These kids have got to learn to play not just with one another, but for one another.
Yeah.
And a big difference in that. And I think that's why you see these tough character wins in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I see out of them. And I'll tell you what else I want to talk about are the fundamentals. I think they're fundamentally a sound group.
Yeah.
I think they handle well. I think they take the appropriate shots most of the times. I think they make the extra pass when they have to. And I bring up fundamentals because I think at the end of the day, a lot of athletics come back to the fundamentals. And I'll tell you another story of yours that you want to share with me about that 06 World Series.
Right.
And you're talking about the environment and the atmosphere and the compete level. And I said, what did you do in pregame? And you said, I did the same doggone thing I always do. I hit off a tee.
Right.
Well, I hit off a tee. I thought that was a 5-year-old thing.
Oh, man.
You're telling me you're doing it before a World Series.
Hey, at the end of the day, in any sport and anything you do, repetition is the mother of skill,
right?
You want to get good at something? There's no secret potion.
Right.
There's and nothing good in life comes easy. You got to put the work in. You got to put the time in. Yeah. For me, T-work, for any kid out there that doesn't think T-work is important, every big league player is doing T-work, underneath before the game starts.
So they're walking out there with that same old-fashioned
tee? Because if you're great at the fundamentals, I mean, even like Danny Holzer's team, they're great at the fundamentals. They play great defense. They run the break well. They can shoot threes. They work the inside. And they got great leadership. I think one thing about this team, they got great senior leadership.
Yep.
Pantel, Skensler, Geisler, Sandusky. These guys are all great leaders, and that shows with the way those guys play.
Controls the locker room.
Big time.
Then I tell you what else it does is it really has a tendency to be contagious and lends itself to further years too, because the freshmen, the sophomore, and even the juniors, they're learning how to lead, and they're learning from their coaches, but they're learning really from their teammates more so now. So that I think that leadership in the locker room is absolutely essential.
It's essential. The best teams that I've ever played on, I can't stand when some people say, "Oh, the chemistry, that's just a matter of you being good." That's not true. The chemistry for guys is when you have leaders like that they have these seniors, that it rubs off on other guys and treating their teammates, treat people the way you want to be treated. That's what a great leader does. And when you have that like they have here, that's a big deal, and that creates that chemistry. That creates those last second victories. That creates down the stretch, not getting too worried, knowing that guy's got your back.
So before we let you go here,
you're pretty good at this, Phil. Seriously, seriously, you need a job at MLB.
I want to get on DVE.
You need a job at MLB Network? You want me to call Randy Bauer?
Are you going to be on DVE more often?
I was just on last week.
Well, you got to get on there more. The problem I told you about DVE is the early morning stuff.
It's early.
Well,
it's early.
If we get rolling in the playoffs, will you join us again?
Oh, I'd love to. You just let me know when.
It's a real treat.
You're doing a great job. Phil Ly's doing a great job. Please tune in, please, because he thinks only 5 people tune in. I know there's got to be more.
I've seen the ratings. There's 5 to 7 people at any given night. We're about to kick off a very exciting event for you tonight in Pantherland. Sean Casey, thanks a ton for joining us pregame. We'll see you after break for senior night, and then an exciting game against the Foxes. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen.
Senior night. It's obviously a very unusual circumstances instead of at our school. We are at the fine campus of Duquesne University. First, we'd like to say thanks to the people of Duquesne for listening to the facility tonight. We have a very special group of 5 seniors that we want to recognize tonight. I apologize for my microphone. I'm going to try to Okay, hopefully this will work better. We have a special group of 5 seniors tonight that deserve a ton of recognition and love. They did an unbelievable group this year. On behalf of the children and myself, we could not be more proud of them. We could not have a better experience coaching them. And I'm not a real emotional guy. I don't shed some tears until because I've never been coaching these guys again. And that's special to me. And I think before we start, they deserve a big round of applause. So, we're going to announce each of them, tell you a little bit about them, and our guys, great guys, exactly what we do our program stands for. So, first we have the guys.
Welcome to senior night, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Elias and Jackson Sandusky bringing you senior night here. Let's step out here, Jackson. Come on out. First senior tonight is Luke Geisler. Parents are Carl and Kathy. 3 years on varsity as a basketball player. He's going to go to college at Cincinnati Christian University, where he's going to play baseball. Intended major is business management. Athletic accomplishments: 3 years varsity basketball letterman, 2-year varsity baseball letterman, and high honor roll. Ladies and gentlemen, senior Luke Geisler. Next senior, Tanner Gensler. Parents Terry and Trish, 4-year player. His college plans are at this point still undecided. He intends to, once in college, major in business and play basketball. Athletic accomplishments: Big 56, second team junior year, 42 points, which was a school record on December 14th versus Peters. Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Athlete of the Week, December 21st. And Tanner was also a member of the National Honor Society. Senior Tanner Gensler. Here comes senior Tommy Howell. Parents are Sue and Tom Howell. This is his first year as a student assistant manager. College, he's deciding between Westminster or Bucknell. His intended major will be secondary education with a major in math. Secondary education with a math major. Athletic achievement: junior year lettered in volleyball. Senior year co-captain of USC boys basketball, varsity basketball team. He academically has earned a certificate for an international baccalaureate middle year program. He was finalist for sophomore student of the year, high honor roll, and sophomore and junior years. Senior Tommy Howell. Take a picture. Come on now, Mom. Scoot it. There you go. Attaboy, Tommy. Next senior, Chris Pantelis. Panto. Son, Chris and Shelley, 4-year basketball player. He's going to head off to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore for college, where he's going to study pre-med, I should say. Athletically, he's a 4-year basketball letter winner. He was a 3-year football letter winner. Honorable mention in second team all-conference in football. Member of the National Honor Society, highest honor roll, yearbook award recipient, natural helper. Senior Chris Pantelis. Here comes senior Ben Sandusky, son of Glenn and Susan, brother of Jackson, 4-year basketball player, JV and varsity. He's going to attend Bucknell University, which I believe is his mother's alma mater. His intended major is business. Academic accomplishments, very interesting here. 2-time pickleball champion and a JV golfer. Academic accomplishments: highest honor roll, National Honor Society, and International Baccalaureate certificate. Senior Ben Sandusky. Let's hit them all now. Hit them all in a line. Those are your seniors, folks. Pretty good looking class. Special night down here at the Palumbo Center. They flooded us out of our gym, so we took them to the Palumbo Center. '18 senior recognition night. After a break, we'll be back with the action. Welcome to the A.J. Palumbo Center, ladies and gentlemen. It's Phil Elias, joined on the camera by Jackson Sandusky, and you're looking live at the A.J. Palumbo Center senior night for these Upper St. Clair Panthers. We're going to do warm-ups today. That's number 22, Luke Gensler. I get Gensler and There's number 10. That's Luke Geisler, senior. We'll be talking about our seniors tonight. We got 4 senior ball players, 1 senior manager. Busy night for the seniors. 6'1" senior Chris Pantelis, number 13. Boy, he looks like he put some gel in that hair for senior night. 5'11" senior from the great Sandusky Clean. Benjamin Sandusky wearing number 21, Roberto Clementi's number. And the big man, number 23, T-Rex, Tanner Gensler, senior. Why are we at the Palumbo Center? Well, I will tell you this. This game was originally scheduled to be played. It's the last game of the season, which is always historically senior night. We got hit with a burst pipe. A pipe right as you come in that athletic wing, the athletic entrance for the sprinkler system burst and dumped between 3,000 and 5,000 gallons of water on the floor on a Sunday, and ruined the big gym and also the intermediate gym, and cannot play basketball on them anymore. So those will be repaired, and those will also be covered by insurance. And it's going to take, it'll take a good 8 to 10 weeks, bare minimum. So what happened between now and then? Well, Kevin Dietrich, our athletic director, and Danny Holzer, our head basketball coach, have deep, deep ties to this school, Duquesne. Kevin was an athletic director here. Danny was a GA here. That's where he got his start as a basketball coach. And they called the Palumbo Center. One thing led to another, and here we are on senior night. Very special senior night. Senior nights are always special, but boy, this one is certainly fits the bill for this team, which has been a very special team. They are 19-2. This is the last game of the regular season. The playoff brackets will be done on Monday. They are expecting a high seed. They are expecting a first-round bye, and they have got high hopes as they enter this tournament, this WPIAL tournament, in hopes of advancing. And the Fox Chapel Foxes, who just banged a 3 to open scoring here, were gracious enough to come down Route 28, and instead of continuing to head south on Route 19, they pulled it up a little early here on Forbes Avenue to play at the storied A.J. Palumbo Center, which is heading to a pretty decent scale renovation itself. Construction begins in March. 3-ball coming, Pantelis off the back rim. Can't get it to fall. 3-0 Foxes still. But they've got a renovation that's going to start here in March and last 18 months. It's going to put both the men's and the women's basketball program on the road. So that's the backdrop of why we're here and what we're doing. And the Foxes are up to a quick 5-0 start with about 6:30 to play in the quarter. I'm gonna have to reacclimate myself to the scoreboard. I gotta find the fouls though. I'm not sure where the fouls are. But that was senior Ben Sandusky working his way to the line, right side. Can't get the basket to drop, but he was fouled en route, and he will shoot 2. Try to get the Panthers on the board here. You don't want the Foxes to shut you out on senior night. Off the front of the rim, Panthers are still goose-egged. A minute and a half gone here. We might as well pick up senior night with number 21, Ben Sandusky. Ben is a 4-year basketball player on JV and varsity. He's the son of Ben and Suzanne. Fox is guilty of a walk on the right side of that. His brother is doing our camera tonight. His brother Jackson is an Allegheny Gator, proud Gator. He came down south for this game tonight with his girlfriend Zoe. Zoe's from Erie, Pennsylvania. She's sitting with the parents. 3-ball from senior Luke Geisler, left side, 5-3. Fox is in the early going. But Ben is going to head off to school at Bucknell University. That's his mother's alma mater. He's going to be a business major. He's a highest honor roll. I'll be honest with you. I thought there was only high honor roll. I did not know there was something called highest honor roll, which is something north of high honor roll. It's always, yeah. 3 ball coming from Gensler off the right side of the rim. Can't get it to fall, but Ben's academic achievements include highest honor roll, National Honor Society member, and he's an International Baccalaureate graduate. He's an IB student. He'll receive his IB certificate in commencement, which is scheduled for mid-June. Keep an eye on that now too, because you got 3 snow days that we got to keep an eye on. Maybe make up for them. But at any rate, Ben Sandusky. This is what I tell you about Ben as a ball player. If you want a model as a coach to say this is how I want players coming in, and Ben Jackson 3 as we talk off the side of the rim. But if you had a model that said this is how I want my players to act, this is how I want them to come into the program, this is how I want them to respond, this is how I want them to dedicate themselves to the program, you would use Ben Sandusky as a model. Never misses a workout, never misses a practice, does his job on the floor, plays exceptionally hard. There was a poignant moment, I thought, this year at home in a game that we're coming back to win against Peters early. Loose ball down the right side to our right side. Ben dives on the floor, saves the ball from going out of bounds, and then those floors are so slick and dust, and he goes flying into the pads head first. But that is a Ben Sandusky play. Ben is a fantastic teammate, and again, he's the model of what you would want out of a ball player. He dedicated himself to the program, and apparently has dedicated himself to the books. Was he a smart kid, Jackson? And the highest honor roll is all A's, so he literally never had a B.
Well, in one of the semesters.
One semester he had 1 B. So you hit the highest honor roll semester to semester. I got you. But he's heading off to Bucknell. And he'll be an IB International Baccalaureate recipient. And he's a doggone leader on this team. Very good basketball player. And he's here with his parents tonight. He's here with his brother tonight. And he's here with his brother's girlfriend tonight. He's number 21, ladies and gentlemen. He is a senior, Ben Sandusky. Foxes with an early 7-3 lead. We're about halfway through this first quarter. Doesn't work on the left side. Rebound, offensive rebound taken away by the Foxes. They'll reload here at the Palumbo Center. This Foxes team is a good basketball team. You got to watch them. They're a team that's going to get a seed, I don't know, 5 or 6. They win a first-round game. You can't roll them out as a potential second-round opponent. A loose ball, one thing leads to another. That'll be a St. Clair possession, trailing 7-3 here in senior night in the early going. Luke Gensler, the sophomore, brings it up, calls a set. Chris Pantelis. Well, they got him for a charge there. I don't know about that. Chris made a move to the left side. They called him for a charge. Why don't we spend a second talking about Chris? Number 13, Chris Pantelis, is a senior. His parents are Shelly and Chris. Brother David, sophomore on this team with him. A little baseline play, 9-3 Foxes early going. It's young Andrew Casey has checked in right side, but the senior Chris Pantelis. Oh boy, Gensler can't get it to work. That thing was halfway down the cylinder. The Panthers struggling a little bit from the field here. So trail by 6 only. Nice defense, Luke Gensler. Let's see if we can't put a little spark into this outing. Senior Chris Pantelis, son of Christopher and Shelley. Chris is heading off to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, where his intentions are to study pre-med. He's a 4-year letterman in basketball, 4 letters. Started as a freshman. I'll never forget his first game in as a freshman. It was early, and the Panthers, being the home team tonight, were the home team on that first start. So they were moving left to right on your television screen, and you see that UPMC stamp on the far side of the court by the Fox Chapel coach. Chris got a pass there, an inbounds pass there, turned around from about the C and jacked a 3. It was his first shot as a varsity high school basketball player, and it was the net didn't even move. The ball was so soft, and there was a backspin on the ball. He just crushed it. Turnaround, transition into defense. One thing leads to another. And the very next trip down court, in about the exact same location, I would say be about a yard in front of that corner of that C, on that UPMC stamp, on basically the other side of the court where that official is right now, with his second shot as a varsity player. Chris Pantelis, Panto, pumped another 3-ball and sank it, and that's how his career here at Upper St. Clair as a basketball player got started. So he's a 4-year letter winner in basketball. He's a 3-year letter winner in football. Honorable mention in second team all-conference football player. That was a 3-ball by the Foxes now. Things getting a little serious here, 12-4. St. Clair starts to press. But he was a 3-year letter winner. So he'll leave Upper St. Clair with 7 letters, which of course will represent his athletic accomplishments. In addition to that, his academic accomplishments, National Honor Society, that highest honor roll, yearbook award recipient. Is it Yale? What's the Yale book? Yale Book Award recipient. Never heard of it. Sounds pretty lofty. Natural helper. And most influential teacher. Very interesting response here. Mr. Kaufman. Chris, 7 letters. I think he's got a 4.7 QPA. And he's just an absolute leader. He was a leader on the football field, where he played receiver, safety, corner, punt return, kick return. He's a leader here for Danny Holzer. He's a leader in that locker room. He's a leader on that floor. He had a very nice write-up recently in the Almanac, where they just talked about his desire and his want to win. He said his most important thing wasn't points, wasn't assists, wasn't even minutes. The most important thing was, at the end of the day, when that clock goes to 0, Chris wanted to do everything he could do to make sure that when that clock's at 0, that the Panthers had more points than the other guys. Chris Pantelis is an absolute leader. He's a senior, and he's heading off to Johns Hopkins. He wants to be a doctor. Chris Pantelis. Chris Pantelis is a pretty good youth football player now. He'd catch some balls for you. Back in an era where we threw it like 4 times a year. He'd catch 3 of them. 12-6 is the score of the Foxes. We've got 2 more senior players and 1 more senior manager that we're going to work in here over the course of this broadcast. Talk about this game a little bit here. Boy, there's a lot of action down there, a lot of contact down there. They called it travel. The right team ends up with the ball, but I mean, there were about 3 different fouls in there. 12-6. Panthers a little cold here. And this Palumbo Hardwoods. It's Tanner Gensler. We'll get to him. Tanner guilty of the travel on the left side. got a decent crowd here. I'm coming down to Duquesne Dukes games, men and women, for years. And I'm not kidding you, there are times where this crowd that we have here tonight, the Dukes don't have this crowd. But this year it's a different year for the men. The men are having a good season. They're 14-6. The women's coach is here tonight. His name's Dan Burt. We had a quick conversation with him before the game. Coach Burt actually gave up this court. There's a gymnasium down here in the Plumbo Center that's underneath the stands, and he took his girls in there, his women in there to practice, and that freed up this court for these kids to play. Coach Burt himself, as Luke Geisler goes baseline for a quick two. Coach Burt himself is a South Hills kid. He's a Trinity Hilltopper, and then he went. And played ball at West Liberty University. 15 seconds to play, 14-8 remaining in the first quarter. Dribble drive right side doesn't work. Ben Sandusky with the rebound. We're going to have a shot here. Pumps it right side. David Pantelis, three ball, can't get it to work. Rebound. Casey throws it off. Doesn't work. 14-8 at the end of the one. We're going to take a break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Elias and Jackson Sandusky as we start play here in the second quarter. 14 to, I can't see through there, Jackson. 14-8. Fox's lead. Luke Geisler left side. Can't get the runner to fall. Foxes with the rebound. In transition with numbers. One problem. Luke Gensler breaks it up. Here comes a three ball. Can't get it to fall. His brother Tanner with the rebound. Underneath works it out right side to Luke. Geisler. Luke gets some airtime, 14-10. Panthers playing with a little juice now. Down by 4. A little flat first quarter, right? Yeah, easy to get distracted down here. You forgot, all this stuff's going on, all these trappings. Got one thing, the Foxes came down here on a business trip. They didn't come down Route 28 to watch the Panthers celebrate senior night. They came down to get a win. And 14-10 in the early going. Foxes will inbound the ball just below us. Nice looking team, these Foxes. You get a couple of them on a football field. Yeah, unforced error on the right side, a little bit of a travel. Luke Gensler. Brings it up. Big T Gens. T-Rex pulls him within 2, 14-12. So we're done. We've done Ben. We've done Chris. Let's move on to our manager, Tommy Howe. Oh, three-point play coming. Can we go to the bench, Jackson? And so you see Coach Holzer. And then you got Casey and Dahlem, and then that's Tommy. You got do an ISO on Tommy. Can you get it in there on him? You got him? All right. That's so we know who we're talking about, and then we can swing back to play. But that's our manager, Tommy Howe. He's the son of Sue and Tom. It's his first year as a student and assistant manager for the Panthers. Interesting. He's deciding between the Westminster Titans and Bucknell. He could be joining Ben Sandusky. What's the Bucknell mascot?
Bison.
Bison? That's a buffalo. So he's Westminster's up in New Wilmington, Amish country. Good cheese. Good cherry pies. 3-ball. Geisler, party time, 17-15. Panthers within 2. Tommy, an athlete himself, junior year, he lettered in volleyball. In the senior year, he lettered as well. He was also a co-captain of the boys basketball team, the boys volleyball team. That was his senior year. 3-ball coming from Luke, can't get it to work. It's a 19-15 game right now. Tommy is also going to get an IB certificate in commencement in June. He was a finalist his sophomore year for the Student of the Year. I'm not sure what that's about. It sounds pretty impressive. It's 21-15, Fox Chapel by 6. Tommy was a finalist. He's a high honor roll in his sophomore and junior years. Tommy's a team manager. He suits up every day, just like Danny Holzer does. I tell you why I like that spot. I've got a family myself, and my middle son was a team manager for Danny 1 year as well. Tommy Howell, ladies and gentlemen, senior. Fox Chapel back up by 8 now, 23-15, 4:40 gone. We talked about senior Ben Sandusky. We talked about senior Chris Pantelis. We talked about senior Tommy Howe. And when we get back in the second half, we'll work on Luke Geisler and then T-Rex, Tanner Gensler. Between now and then, though, these Panthers have got to work on cutting this lead a little bit. 8-point Fox's lead, 4:38 to play in the second here on senior night at the A.J. Palumbo Center. T-Rex is actually one of our better foul shooters. Of the schools he's considering, Marietta Pioneers in the OAC, Ohio Athletic Conference. Love the OAC, love Marietta. Tell you a quick story about Marietta. I was down there recently, like this summer of 18. I get down there, had to be down there for an evening. Get down there, I drive, it's 2.5 hours down there or so. Check into the Lafayette Hotel, historic Lafayette Hotel, 200-year-old hotel. It looks great on the outside and the inside. It's got an air conditioner unit. Not so great in an August night. But I hadn't had anything to eat all day. So I run across the street. Marietta's a small town. I run across the street. I'm with my son. We run into a restaurant. It's almost bare. I talk to the maitre d'. I say, "Maitre d', I know you're trying to close." I look off to my right. There's a party of 6 or 8. I say, if we promise to order, have our food here, we'll be out either at the same time or before that party at 8 if you can fit us in. We'd appreciate it. He says, no problem, sit down. We quickly order. We quickly eat. And as I'm paying the bill, that party is starting to move. They're starting to move as they're starting to exit. They're working their way toward the door. I don't pay a ton of attention to them. I'll pause the story there and give you a little backstory. I am a big fan, like many Americans, of the writing of David McCullough. David McCullough is a Pittsburgher, and he's one of the country's foremost American history historians. It's particularly strong in the Founding Fathers. Among his many books, one of them was simply titled 1776. And the book covers the first 12 months of the Revolutionary War. And it reads like an absolute thriller. Just a stunning book. 3-ball Chris Pantelis Sr. pulls these Panthers within 4. Wrote another one on John Adams. You don't hear a lot about John Adams. You don't hear enough about John Adams. You go to Washington, D.C., a great American city, you won't see any statues, monuments on John Adams. But he's an amazing founding father. with tremendous influence. He wrote a book on John Adams. HBO takes that book, turns it into a miniseries. At any rate, resume, take you back now to that restaurant. As I'm paying my bill and as that party of 6 or 8 is making its way to the exits, they're moving on the left side. I can see them just in the periphery, not paying much attention to them. But I hear a voice. It's the unmistakable voice. David McCullough, in addition to being a great writer, has a big, deep, bassy, baritone voice. Chris Pantelis for 2. He narrates forget the guy that did the Civil War series, but it was very good. And he also did one on Teddy Roosevelt and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, third cousins separated three times. But I'm in that restaurant and I hear this voice, and it's unmistakable voice of David McCullough. And I'm in the town of Marietta, which I think the population is 12,000. And it's about 10:30, 11 o'clock on an August night. And I look and it's him. Now I got to tell you, I'm not much of an autograph guy. If you're walking through the airport and you scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl, I'm going to let you keep walking. Those days are behind me. I make a couple of exceptions. I still don't do the autographs. I'll put it to you this way. In the last 20 years, I've stopped 2 people. One was Muhammad Ali in LaGuardia Airport. I had to. I think he's the greatest champion we've ever had. And the second one was this August, year 2018. It's David McCullough. He's walking through a restaurant in the town of Marietta. I stop him. I got to stop him. I talk to him for a second. Very engaging fella. We're talking for a minute. I tell him I enjoyed his work greatly. You only got a second or 2 to talk to him, so I got to say to him, I say, what in the heck are you doing in Marietta, Ohio? And he pauses and he says, well, first of all, he's been coming to Marietta, Ohio, he and his wife, for years. They've got friends that spend their summers there. It's very nice homes across the river. Marietta sits at the confluence. And with that 3-ball, St. Clair's up by 1 now. It sits at the confluence of the Ohio River and the Muskegon River. And he said he's been coming down there for years, but he said he'd begun to research the area. The area was the shipping off point of the great pioneer experience in America. It's where they came after the American Revolution, and it's where Lewis and Clark took off. It's where all those great explorers took off, and it's where our westward expansion basically began. And he says to me, I'm writing a book. And you want to know what the name of the book is? It's called Pioneers. Marietta Pioneers. David McCullough is in town, on site, doing research. And before he leaves, he goes, you know, I got to tell you, Marietta is one of America's greatest small towns. Marietta Pioneers recruiting T-Rex Tanner Gensler. I hope he goes. He's going to have several offers. The T-Rex will have to sort through them in a bit. Now we got a ball game. 25-24, Panthers by 1 here on this very special senior night. Minute 23, Ben Sandusky just put a dude on his butt. That's what he does. That's the program guy he is. Get on the ground. He's got such great hair. You would think a guy with hair like that wouldn't put guys down. Panto, right side of the rim. We're up by 3 and we're cooking with oil now, baby. The Panthers putting on the Ritz. Starts with defense. Started with a stop down here on the right side. And we got a great environment. 27-24 Panthers. And we just force a turnover. 55 to play. Danny Holzer's got him rocking. Palumbo Center on his very special senior night. 27-24. Panthers will have time to try and hold for last shot if they want. Took them a while to get it started. They were down by as many as 8. They were down by 8 2 times in this game, in this half, and came back. Luke Gensler, sophomore, brings it up. Cramps finds Chris Pantelis, senior, left side. Luke Geisler pops out, back to Luke Gensler, right side. Chris Pantelis, 3-ball coming. It's down. Panto strikes again. 30-24. 30 seconds to play in the half. Panto just caught and shot. In motion, feeling it. Panthers by 6 now. They've turned it around big time in this second quarter. Got it started with defense. 20 to play. Looking to make a stop. and go into the half up by 6. Oh, got a push there on Luke Kensler. I don't see fouls. I see Fox Chapel shooting from the bonus. St. Clair's not in the bonus, but I don't have a count on fouls. They keep them up here sometimes, but they haven't turned the big screen on. It's 16.1 to play. And the Fox is in the bonus. A good student section tonight. Good turnout. And student buses. We got to spend some time talking about Dr. Dietrich putting this together. The work he's done with these students. 30-26. St. Clair by 4. Beg your pardon. With less than 10 to play. 8 on the clock. They better get this thing started. Luke Kensler, right side. Turn it over. 3.3 to play. Contest this inbounds play a little bit and. We'll get to the half. Ooh. Did you spend much time in the student section, Jackson?
Lots of time.
Boy, we had 32 Fox Chapel on a push. Here's the significance of that. With 2.3 to play, he's 60 feet from the hoop, and guess what? They're in the 1-on-1. They're going to go shoot. Not a good foul, Jackson. Luke Geisler, where do we get to him? His father, Carl Geisler. Woo-hoo-hoo. Carl Geisler's a good egg. He's got a good family. Jackson Geisler, the older boy. We'll get to Luke here in the second half. Luke makes the front end, 31-26. Oh, no. Got the 3 ball. Can't get it to work. He was fouled. Got the rebound. Was fouled going up. It is 31-26. We're going to head to the half. See you in a bit. Welcome back to the A.J. Palumbo Center, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Elias joined on the camera by Jackson Sandusky. We're back to action here. Senior night, Upper St. Clair, 31-26 to Panthers. The first half lead. Blows exchanged early here in the third quarter. Foxes jack the 3. It doesn't fall. Panto makes a run at the left side of that rim for a 2. It doesn't work. We throw 2 punches, but draw no blood. Here at the Palumbo Center, our home courts are washed out. We got a rain out. And in Upper St. Clair, the water has ruined the floor at St. Clair. Get our camera going here a little bit. Feel better there? And so the university, you guys are all right. Don't worry about it. Duquesne was nice enough to let us come down, and thanks very much. It was nice enough to come down and lend us their hardwoods. That's almost a travel there. 31-26. Jackson and I are on. We're just above the blue seats, Section A. Yeah, a little foot traffic in front of us, but we were up top. There is a balcony just above us. It was a little far away. We settled here. 31-28 here in the early goings of senior night. Oh, Tanner Gensler makes a move on the right side, gets one to fall. They pull it back on T-Rex. Senior night, the last game of the home game of the year for the Panthers. On this just fantastic season for them. The playoffs, Whitfield will meet Monday night, February 11th. The Panthers fully expect to receive a first-round bye. That'll put them into the quarterfinals. 31-30 here. St. Clair by 1. Your 5 on the floor, or your 5 that started. Chris Pantelis, number 13. Number 23, Tanner Gensler. Number 21, Ben Sandusky. Number 22, Luke Gensler. And number 22, Luke Geisler. Luke Geisler is a senior. Spent a little time talking about Ben Sandusky, Chris Pantelis. Sandusky with a 3-ball, can't get it to drop. And Tommy Howe, our senior manager, in the first half. That leaves 2 seniors here in the second half. And let's spend a minute and talk about number 10, Luke Geisler. I got a little sheet here with some info on him. I'll give you his. I'll give you the 86 on him. There was a 2-ball there. Fox Chapel opens up 6-0 scoring here, and a 6-0 run to take a 1-point lead over St. Clair. T-Rex right side gets it to drop, and he's fouled en route. He'll go to the line. Opportunity to complete an old-fashioned 3. Here's Luke Geisler. Parents are Carl and Kathy. He's been 3 years of varsity basketball. I don't have his baseball stuff in front of me, but it's been at least 3 years in varsity baseball as well. I think Luke is a 6-year letter winner between the 2 sports. He is going to attend college at CCU, that's Cincinnati Christian University. He's going to play baseball there. It's like his older brother, Jackson Geisler. Jackson was a very good baseball and a football player. He was a starting quarterback. And Jackson was also a very good basketball player. But Luke is a 3-year varsity basketball letterman. And here it is. He was a 2-year winner in baseball. But, you know, baseball, his senior year is yet to occur. So I got to think as a senior coming in, he's a letter winner there. So he'll go 3-3. Oh, we got a foul. And he was ready to call a travel. I mean, he wanted to. Didn't get it done. Luke is a member of the High Honor Roll. Most influential teacher, Mr. Durkin. So this is what I'll tell you about Luke Geisler. I know Luke's father, Carl, quite well. Carl is a Duquesne grad himself, 2-sport ball player down here, baseball and football. And Carl was a baseball and football player growing up on the mean streets of fire, Mount Lebanon. Streets of fire. Walk now. Right side, foul going up, 33-32. But Carl Geisler, of course, coming from the mean streets, comes from that darkness on the edge of town, known as Mount Lebanon. And somewhere there in Carl Geisler's hometown of Mount Lebanon, he developed quite the competitive spirit. And he coached all of his boys and all of the sports growing up. And I'm telling you this much, when they walked onto a baseball field, when Luke Geisler walked onto a basketball court, they walked on there with the intentions to W-I-N, win the game. They came at you like wasps. And it was a lot of fun. I tell you, it was more fun when you were with them than it was when you were against them. It's Ethan Dahlem going left side. But I caught up with his dad and Luke just before they walked on the court for senior night. And I asked him about rec sports growing up, and Luke pointed to back-to-back championships and rec hoops. I think I got this right. 7th grade. No, I take that back. 7th grade, they swept rec baseball and rec basketball. Carl Geisler, win-win. Luke Geisler, win-win. Champion. And they were pitted up against classmate, if you remember this name, Aiden Urbano. Aiden is a very good athlete. He now lives in Seattle, Washington. The loss stung Aiden so bad that he had to move to Washington State. But they won the rec hoops championship, 7th grade. They won the basketball, and on cue, on this great senior night, Luke Geisler goes to his left. Teardrop in the city. Bad scooter. 3-ball coming. It's down. That ties it up at 38. And we got a timeout. St. Clair will be right back. Welcome back to the Palumbo Center, ladies and gentlemen. Philly Lies and Jackson Geisler here on senior night. 38-38, 3:41 to play in the third quarter. And we're taking a slow walk down memory lane with our seniors, and we are at the tail ends of the Luke Geisler piece. But he and T-Rex Tanner Gensler, he's our last senior. We're going to get to him in the fourth quarter. But Luke went up on that left side. I've seen him do that. I think he's worked really, really hard. Obviously, he's in top physical shape. He's an athlete. I think one of his better attributes, I would say his two best attributes are his course of his athleticism. But I think it's just his toughness, mental toughness, physical toughness. And I bet you he's 5'11", but he'll work really hard to get to the left side of that rim. I know he's a great influence, a great teammate, wonderful chemistry guy, and a tough ball player. And he, on cue, gave us that teardrop on the city for 2. Bad scooter searching for his groove. 3-ball, Gensler can't get it to work. Rebound taken away by the Foxes. But Luke Geisler is a senior. He's number 10. I think he's in the process of getting his, boy, that's a block and a foul. These Foxes aren't going away easily. They're going to get a 2-ball. And they'll be shooting for an old-fashioned 3 here. Put them up by 3. Luke Geisler off the CCU in Cincinnati. He's got to try the Skyline Chili down there. And I've been there. I don't know where WKRP is, but I'd like to find out. Luke Geisler, ladies and gentlemen, number 10, senior. 40-38, Fox Chapel by 2 with 2:40 to play. Luke Gensler's back is thoroughly banged around in the paint, and they'll send him to the line. Shooting 2 on this senior night. It's a 6-team foul. We still got 2.5 to play. Luke Gensler working hard. 3-ball out to Geisler. Had a notion, pulled it in. Set up and play some offense. Get some zone time here. Ben Sandusky, bunny hop into the paint. Loses the handle, finds it back. Luke Gensler can't get a runner to drop. Foxes turn the Panthers over. 2:14 to play. Palumbo Center's filled out nicely for this game. That's a travel. Foxes by 2 on this senior night, and got a good student section representation. They're filling that entire end zone. To the left of your screen, those are our students. Again, our Chris Pantelis can't get the first one to work. Hard work gets the second one to work. We're tied at 40. Almost 3/4 through this thing, and very little has been resolved. We're knotted at 40. And again, our gyms were hit with some water. Insurance company adjusters came in and said these floors are ruined. I think you got senior night coming up, or may have occurred in wrestling. In wrestling, T-Rex to the right side, now up by 2. And when that wrestling senior night concluded, they're going to take those floors up. We should get Dr. Dietrich. I got him. I'd love to get him on the mic down here for 5 minutes. And have him tell the story about how him and Danny Holzer were able to put this game together. See if we can't get his attention. 43 seconds to play. (42-40). Panthers by 2 with the ball, playing for one more shot. Danny Holzer back where he started. 3-ball coming, Chris Pantelis, a little long range on that missile. It's off the front of the rim. Rebound taken away by the Foxes. 10 to play. 3-ball coming, now they decide to pull it in. Here comes a deep 3 for the lead. Can't get it to work. We will head to the 4th with the Panthers. There's actually 1.3 to play. Panthers can't get it to work. It is 44-4 as we head to the 4th. Welcome back to the Palumbo Center, ladies and gentlemen. Getting ready to start the 4th. It's Phil Elias, joined on the camera by Jackson Sandusky, the great Jackson Sandusky, currently an Allegheny Gator. He's kind enough to come down here and work the camera for us on senior night. Brought his girlfriend from Erie, Zoe. Jackson's working the camera for us. 42-40, Panthers by 2. Possession arrow favored the Panthers. They inbound the ball, and they will start in the offensive zone on this senior night. And we've spent some time talking about our seniors here. We talked about Ben Sandusky, we talked about Chris Pantelis, we talked about Tommy Howe, we talked about Luke Geisler. We've got one last Panther senior to talk about, and that's the Panther with the ball now, T-Rex, Tanner Gensler, on cue. T. Gens muscles his way to the right side, made basket, and he's fouled in the process. It's our leading scorer. All right. 45-40, T. Gens completes the old-fashioned 3. Let's talk about him. I need an assistant to my doggone paperwork here. Rebound taken away by Pantelis. Trying to get a little space here now. Panthers up by 5. They led by as many as 8. Foxes have had 2 8-point leads themselves. 3-ball coming, Pantelis doesn't work. Loose ball right side. Typical Ben Sandusky all over the play, looking for a fat lip. Can't save the loose ball. Tanner Gensler is son of Terry and Trish, 4-year letter winner. Will be a 4-year letter winner. They'll give him his 4th at the banquet this year. College attending. We talked about a little bit that in the first half with that at Marietta, Ohio story. Tanner is currently undecided. He is being recruited though, and with the year he's put up, I'd imagine that recruiting activity will only pick up. 3 ball coming right side for the Foxes. It's down. And these Foxes won't go away. They cut the lead to 2. When Tanner doesn't roll, his intended major will be business, and he fully intends to play basketball. As he gets the rebound on the right side, T. Gens is certainly starting to play more physical now in this game. Try to express his will a little bit. His athletic accomplishments include, but not limited to, Big 56, second team junior year. He will be a first team player this year, first team all conference player, first team all WPIAL. I believe he's in a class of very few amongst the best players in the Whips this year. They don't ask me. He scored 42 points on December 4th versus Peters Township. That is a school record. Mind you, we've had people like Dale Mindbreeze. We're going to stay here. Can we keep it rolling? Dale Mindbreeze played. We've had players here. Go ahead, help yourself. Nobody has scored more points for Danny Holzer than Tanner Gensler did in that incredible comeback win, which was their home opener, section home opener. He scored 42 against Peters. And it was also a Pittsburgh Post-Gazette Athlete of the Week, December 21st. National Honor Society. He lists among his academic accomplishments. This is what I tell you about what I think of Tanner Gensler and what he's done on this court. I don't know if anybody has worked as hard as Tanner at improving his game. But the biggest change I've seen in him since a freshman to his senior year has been his attitude. He's always had a good attitude, but he's flipped the switch from a participant to a leader. So much so that I'll tell you candidly, I have seen him play with what I believe to be is just a straight-up chip on his shoulder. I think he comes out with an edge every single night. I think he plays his opponents as though they just said something about his mama. And I got to tell you, somebody's got to. If we're going to compete, there's an aspect of that competition that's going to involve someone getting mean, someone getting nasty, someone playing right up to that line and from time to time slipping over it. Someone's had to do it. If you don't, you know what you're stuck with? You're 500. You're 15-11. You're one and done in the playoffs. That's what you get. But if you want to compete, somebody has got to step up and play with a chip on their shoulder. And that chip, and we're going to stay here, please. That chip has been the biggest change in Tanner's game. His height has always been one of his attributes. His athleticism has been one of his attributes. I will say his shooting has improved a great deal. He's one of our better shooters. He can play inside and outside. He's a big man. He's 6'4". They're going to want him to play with his back to the basket. They're going to want him to rebound. He does that. He's also a perimeter player. He can play inside and outside. He can knock down threes. He's got that contraption on his right hand. That thing's been with him from early on. And I tell you, that Peters game where he scored 42, in one play he got 2 contusions, and I mean cuts. He went up, he got elbowed in the mouth, he made the basket, and he fell to the ground and dinged his knee. Made the three-point play. They took him out. By the time they wrapped him up, he looked like he just walked out of a MASH unit. But that has been, in my opinion, the single biggest difference in Tanner's game. has been his approach to walk onto that court and say, I want to win this. I want to win this game. And we're just not going to get where we want to go without that kind of attitude. Now, he's had help. Certainly other kids have played with the same attitude. I think this senior group has meshed very well together and have played with a similar attitude, with a similar toughness. But Tanner has certainly led the way in that regard. Look, he fills it up. He's the team's leading scorer. But he also plays with that attitude that makes such a decisive difference in a game. Also plays with a ton of confidence. He is not afraid to shoot the ball. He's not afraid to move. And he will take the game right to the line. Biggest difference. I tell you where I've seen it before. It runs. There must be a strand that runs through this Gensler family, because his older sister is here tonight. Played on these hardwoods. And a three-point play there. Potential 49-45. That'll cut it to 49-47. The Foxes will shoot with a chance to cut it to 3 with 3:41 to play. But Tanner's older sister played Division I basketball right here on this floor. I used to watch her play. At the time, the girls back in high school in Upper St. Clair would play in that auxiliary gym. And I used to go in there and watch her play. She used to play with a very similar ilk, very similar attitude. And then she brought that attitude down here to Duquesne. You know what happened after she was done playing at Duquesne? She went to Europe, became a professional basketball player. But Tanner's cut from the same cloth, clearly, the same DNA, and he is far and away exceeded expectations and really, really developed into just a fantastic basketball player. And he's got these Panthers now just 3 minutes away from winning the last game of the regular season, 49-48. T. Gens, if they're going to get it done in this game, Big T-Rex, Tanner Gensler, will have something to say about that. Number 23, Tanner Gensler. Inside the paint, as though on call, as though scripted, as though we watched the game and then came back in here and overdubbed the audio. I assure you we didn't. But T. Gens drops a 2. I'm wishing him the best of luck here in the remainder of his high school career. And he's got some basketball left in him, and I'm hoping he becomes a pioneer of Marietta. Bring forth a pioneer, as they're saying. He's hoping that Tanner Gensler is dropping dimes at the confluence of the Ohio and the Muskegon Rivers in Marietta, Ohio. Tanner Gensler, ladies and gentlemen, number 23, senior. 51-50. It's tighter than a tick down here at the Palumbo. Under 2 to play. Looking to wrap up this senior night with a win. Gensler working left side. Can't get it to work. Rebound's kicked away, taken by the Foxes. Rebound is good. Puts the Foxes up by a point. 52-51, a minute and a half to play. Fourth quarter. Tanner Gensler working right side to Ben Sandusky. Finds Luke Geisler in the corner. Back to Ben. Luke, open left side. Just can't give him that look. Gave him an inch. He took it. 53-52. 120 to play. Welcome going back to the Palumbo Center, ladies and gentlemen. Phil Elias and Jackson Sandusky. Senior night. St. Clair by 1. 53-52 in a very competitive game here. Fox's ball inbounding it underneath after a made basket. I believe so it is. They're going to contest this inbound shot. 1 point game here. These Foxes have been feisty. They've played a very competitive schedule themselves. Lost to Latrobe and Butler, and there's no shame in that. Minute 15. Ben Sandusky defends the ball carrier. Now Chris Pantelis pops out around the midcourt stripe and back to Ben on defense. Minute to play. Looks like these Foxes may want to burn some clock. I mean, could they play for last shot? It's conceivable. They could. There's an awful lot of time between now and then. A little probing exercise there, left side of the rim. Pantelis defends. Casey pops out now, tries the right side. Runner. Basket is good, and he was fouled in the process. They'll make the score 54-53. 45 seconds to play. Big foul shot coming up here. (54-53). Rebound taken away, loose ball. It's on the ground. Fox is with the ball, timeout. Fox Chapel. Well, that rebound was long. We'll stay here, Jackson, no time. It was a long rebound off it hit the back of that rim hard, came flying off. Loose ball scrum. The Fox has come up with it, 54-53, at 40.6 to play. I don't know, I guess the Foxes will inbound the ball, make a couple of passes, and see if the Panthers contest, and at some point, if they can't get it, they're gonna have to foul. We got a little action over here in the student section. We got any, those are students. They sent buses down here. It's I saw Jason Sweeney down there. He's coming to Duquesne. It's Antonio Orsini, I see. He's talking about Duquesne. He's starting to push and shove there a little bit. They probably don't want that on film. Antonio Thomas, Colin McClendon. Got some celebrities in there. Those are our students. Made the trip downtown. 54-53. Here we come out of the break. 40.6 seconds to play at the Palumbo Center here on senior night. Foxes have been feisty. How much so? They got a 1-point lead in the ball. Contest this inbounds play. Play tight defense. See if you can't organically generate a turnover, and if not, you're going to have to foul and send the Foxes to the line. This must be the guy they want to follow. Another timeout there. Hey, we'll go to a break now, Jackson, and be back. Welcome back to the Palumbo Center, ladies and gentlemen. It's Phil Elias, joined on a camera by Jackson Sandusky. 36-7 to play. Fox Chapel 54, USC 53. The Foxes will inbound the ball. And here we go. They got a quick foul there. Andrew Casey will send him to the line, shooting 1-1. Tanner Gensler checking in. Andrew checking out. 35-1 to play. The miss will generate a live ball. They're going to have to rebound it. Last time we were in a situation, a long rebound came off. The Foxes ended up with the ball. First one's down. Foxes by 2. (55-53). Knocks them down. They're both good. 3-point game. Here we go. 30 seconds to play. Luke Gensler sets up right side, finds Luke Geisler. Maybe they come down and look for a quick 2. Not the case. They turn it over. Can't get a travel call here. Timeout, Fox Chapel, and we will go to a... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Palumbo Center for the final 21.6 of this game. It's Phil Elias, joined on the camera by Jackson Sandusky. Panthers backs to the wall on senior night, down by 3. Possession arrow, or I should say the possession, favors the Foxes, and so does the arrow. It could become relevant here in a jump ball scenario. They're going to have to apparently play a little defense and then foul. We get a foul in mid-court stripe, 15.9 to play. Foxes are going to look to expand on this 3-point lead. Foxes came in here on a business trip, tell you that much. It was business from the jump for these Foxes. They grinded out a first quarter lead. They led by as many as 8 at 2 different times in the first half. The Panthers went on a run. They too had 2 8-point leads, but it's gone back and forth. The Foxes now up by 4 with 15.9 to play. Both are good. Foxes hit their last 4 free throws. The lead is now 5. 10 to play. St. Clair's gonna have to get a shot here. They get it. 9. We'll stay here. We'll stay here, Jackson. The lead is 9. I beg your pardon. Lead is 3. 9 seconds to play. Timeout St. Clair. Got to think you contest the inbounds play hard, try to force a turnover, and then you got to immediately get to a foul scenario. And hope these Foxes who have been hitting their foul shots miss the front end, because I think they're in a 1-and-1. I think they're in a 1-and-1 because I don't see fouls here. They're certainly in the bonus. I think they're still in a single bonus. And if they're in a double bonus, it'll change things. At any rate, we're about to find out. 9 seconds to play here in the final game of the regular season. Senior night here at the Palumbo Center. Inbounds play. Foxes inbound the ball and they're fouled. That's their best foul shooter right there for sure. And he'll go to the line. 7.7 was a quick foul. 7.7 to play. So that's the team's 9th. There's their last foul to give in a single bonus situation. Next foul will generate a double bonus. So you get them to miss the front end of this, and Panthers may be in business. And he knocks them down. They've hit 5 in a row. Lead is 4. Hits them both. Running clock. Down to a few seconds to play here. Ben Sandusky, left side, gets it to work. Timeout, Danny Holzer. We'll stay here, Jackson. I think he wanted that thing on the made shot. Might have cost him a second. 60-57. Thirty-second timeout. I think they're looking for a little more time on that clock. These 3 officials here mid-court talking. I don't know if you're going to get it. Problem is that official needed to know that a timeout was coming. He needed to anticipate it on the made basket. You look over to Danny Holzer. He didn't get it. Might have cost him a half a second. They will do the same here. They will contest and then foul. Look, they may foul before the ball is inbounded. And then everybody will walk down the length of the court here. And remember now, with the next foul, the Foxes will enter the double bonus. So they get to shoot 2 there. Regardless of the outcome, you're going to need to get them to miss both. Backs to the wall. He's inbounded and fouled. 2.5 to play. They did put some time back on that clock. I missed it. It was 2.3 as we headed into the break, and now we got 2.5. So Danny Holzer might have gotten another half a second line. Sam Pride is at the line, number 23 for the Foxes. He will shoot 2. 3-point lead. Boy, they have hit their foul shots. Second one's in and out. Timeout, Chris Pantelis. 1.7 to play. Four-point lead 1.7. They're going to keep grinding into the close here, but the Panthers' backs are certainly against the wall here. And a great night down here at the Palumbo Center. The storied Palumbo Center. Duquesne Dukes, women's basketball, men's basketball, both of them playing the A-10. Conference opponents like Dayton, Davidson, Fordham, George Mason, George Washington, LaSalle and Philly, UMass, Rhode Island, Richmond Spiders. Sean Casey's a Richmond Spider. Jay Sekernick, basketball czar, youth basketball commissioner, is a Richmond Spider. St. Bonaventure, St. Joe's in Philly, St. Louis, the Billikens, and Virginia Commonwealth, VCU. That's your A-10. Ball's inbounded, falls short, and so do the Panthers on senior night. 61-57 is your final. On behalf of Philly Lies and Jackson Sandusky, we'll see you in the playoffs. Wish you a good night.